Hello my loves, welcome back to the Witch's Bookery. If you are meeting me for the first time, I am Tabby the Herbal Witch, and I am here to give you all types of information on everything when it comes to spirituality, witchcraft. I talk about witchy books, spells that you can do, and all sorts of other things. So please join us, and if you like what you see by the end of this video, go ahead and like and comment, maybe even subscribe. So let's get to it. Today we're going to talk about why your spells aren't working. And there are many reasons why a spell won't work. I know sometimes we feel that we are praying as hard as we can, we are putting in the work, we are setting those intentions, and we're using the proper days of the week, or we're using the right colored candles, and sometimes it isn't about those things at all. Sometimes there are other aspects that are keeping us from achieving those goals and having our intentions come to fruition. So here are a couple things that I have seen that I know that in the past may have stopped some of my spells from working, and I'm just going to share those with you, okay? If you see me looking down, it's because I've taken these notes. Right now I'm sitting outside of work and I'm on my lunch break, and I just wanted to really get this message out to you guys. So here it goes. So the first thing I have here is timing. Sometimes we want things to happen right now, but the magic is not just going to happen like we see on TV. So things happen with a certain fluidity. Magic is very fluid. It runs like water, kind of. So if you have boulders and rocks, if you have hills, if you have valleys, the magic has to flow. Things have to be moved out of the way, or it has to go around to certain things. Things have to align. Things have to be arranged. And so that can also slow down, or in the sense of blockages, stop the magic from working. So yes, you put out your intention, you used the right correspondences, you did it on the correct day of the week for whatever path that you follow, but still that spell went nowhere. And so because of the time that you chose to do it, it could just be that things are working very slowly, or there could be a blockage there. Another reason why your spell may not be working is because you probably aren't ready for it. Is your house in order, as they used to say? Do you have everything in the proper place to welcome whatever it is that you're asking for? For example, and I know this may tug at some heartstrings, but this is just one thing that I know that I struggled with at the time that I was praying for it. Is I wanted a child, and I wanted a child really badly, and it just wasn't happening for me. And I set that intention, and I prayed to God. I asked the divine, if I am to be a mother, please allow this to come into my life. And I set those intentions, and it was a couple of years that I prayed and prayed, and finally, when I got my house in order, as in I moved to a space that would allow me to raise a child, I also made my schedule to where I would have time for a child. I made my schedule to where I would have time to nurture someone other than myself. I also made it to where my life wasn't as selfish, that I would actually be able to have that energy come into my life and not be a negative influence on that energy once that energy came into my life. And so once I set those things in motion, once I got my spiritual home, my physical home in order, then I was blessed with a child. And so sometimes, we ask for something, but we just don't have room to receive it. Another thing that could be stopping us from receiving our blessings or having our spells actually work or our intentions come to fruition is blockages. And I mentioned this before, but sometimes there are blockages, as in spiritual blockages, where the things that need to align just haven't aligned properly. And I know there are spells that you can do as far as road opening spells and things like that to kind of remove those blockages. But sometimes your angels and your guides are protecting you. and they're keeping you from doing something that will be detrimental to you. So for example, I wanted a job. I wanted a specific position at a specific company. And so I requested it, and sorry, I had a coworker step up. So anyway, there was a specific job that I wanted at a specific company, and I set the intention, and I did the spell on the correct day under the correct correspondences. I did all that, and it didn't happen. And I continued for a couple months to pray for the same thing, and finally I learned that the company actually went under, that the company failed, the position was no longer available. And at that point I became thankful that my angels and guides actually protected me from that, because that could have been very detrimental for my household had I gone to that company and actually worked for them and put all my eggs into that one basket. So sometimes the blockages that are there are for our own benefit. It could also be that the energy that you're putting behind the spell is not enough to remove whatever blockage is in your way. And for whatever reason, you are, I don't want to say that you're not powerful enough, because we can move mountains. We can make anything happen. We can create the life that we want. It's just that, are you putting enough effort? Are you putting enough force behind it? And if you are not putting in enough of the energy required to remove those blockages, then they're going to stay there, and they're going to stop your spell from working. And of course, we know of the blockages where there's actually an entity or a spiritual attack or something to that effect that is stopping your spell from working. And at that point, that's something that you would need to confront head on. And some people, they have issues with spiritual warfare, because that's exactly what it is. It's spiritual warfare. And so you would have to then figure out whether you or your coven or your family members who are also very spiritual people, powerful people, if y'all are going to join together and work through it. So that could be another reason why your spell is not working. So how do you get your spell to work? Besides all of the correspondences and, doing it on a specific day and using a certain color candle, which, I can go through that in another video on another day. Just let me know in the comments below if that's something you would like to see. But besides doing those things, you really need to commune with spirit. You need to form that relationship with spirit. You need to, find a time where you pray, where you ask your angels and your guides to please help you in your work. And also not just to help you in your work, but give you some insight on if you should even be working the spell that you're trying to do. Because sometimes what you're asking for is something you shouldn't even be asking for. Maybe it's you're asking for a job at a specific company, when in actuality, you should be asking for the opportunities to come to you so you can own your own business. So it is good to go ahead and commune with your angels and your guides. And what I like to do is I like to get my cards out. I like to get my tarot cards out or my oracle deck, whichever one, and just kind of go through, shuffle the deck and gain insight from there. What you also can do is you should do shadow work. This is something that as a witch, we all should be working on ourselves constantly. We all should be trying to figure out why we do the things we do, why we feel the way we feel, what our triggers are, why do those things trigger us. We should always look to learn about our shadow so we can work with the shadow. And how I suggest you do this is look deep within yourself. Why do you want this in the first place? Why are you setting this intention? Why are you working this particular spell? If you have doubts in the back of your mind, what is making you doubtful? If there's fear, what are you afraid of? Are there other alternatives to working a spell? Are there other mundane ways that we can solve this problem before we turn to a spiritual means of changing things? Okay. I know that might be hard to think about, especially when we are emotional and we're trying to work something and we want it done and we want it done now. A lot of times, majority of the time, magic is not going to happen overnight. Now, sometimes we have that energy, we have that belief, we have that intention, and we see things in hours or days or whatever. But there's other times where it's, a slow trickle. Things slowly align, things slowly move into place, and we slowly see what we ask for. Okay. And so with that, I'm asking you to please go into your magic with more intention, with more thought. Think about all angles. Think about what it is that you're actually trying to accomplish. And when you write your petition, when you cast your spells, don't just go at it just because. Understand that this is not a game. That magic is a science. It is a precise science. Now, it is precise for you. It is precise for, your path, but it is a precise science. This is energy that you are manipulating. This is energy that you are changing. This is not something that is just like, oh, well, if it changes, it'll be all right. No. So really go into these things carefully. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video, as always. I love you guys. I thank you for sticking with me, those of you who are. And I pray that you are blessed. And if you like this video, please comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.